Previously on In the Shadow of Bob, the KSP created and recreated the most advanced and powerful spacecraft of all time, the Heff 3500. After an epic launch and a painstaking docking sequence, the ship was assembled, and the crew soon found themselves riding the Maverick shuttle to board it. During the docking sequence, however, Nedzer and Jebediah Kerman got into a heated argument, nearly resulting in them crashing into the ship, and both of them being banned from piloting for the foreseeable future. Now, the crew finds themselves ready to leave low Kerbin orbit and take on the Jool System. Alrighty everyone, listen up. Before we settle in for our first transfer, let's talk about what is to come. I promise I won't go on as long as last time. Our very first destination is, of course, Bob, Kerbin's curious little satellite. There are many things that we do not know about it, namely how its density is so high. To find this out and more, we are to land there with the Kangaroo lander. Bill and Jolena, I want you two on your A game, as alongside myself, you'll be taking the lander to the surface. Aye aye, Captain. I'll try to do my best. And on that note, the crew settled into their quarters and eagerly prepared themselves for the beginning of the first burn. KSC to Heff 3500. You are cleared to begin trans-bop injection. Copy that. Ignition in T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Wow, that was it? I was expecting some crazy G-forces, but I barely feel anything. Lame, man. Yeah, atomic engines aren't the most powerful, but they sure are efficient. The same cannot be said about you and calories. Well, that was just rude. At least I can actually afford food. Dude, are we done yet? We've been burning the engines forever. We're gonna be accelerating for at least the next half hour. Not cool. Eventually, though, even with Furwise's impatience, the Heff 3500 did finish its burn, and made its way out of low Kerbin orbit and outwards to Bob. During this transfer, though, as the rest of the crew conversed and chatted, Ned remained in his crew cabin, feeling confused and upset about what had happened during the Maverick's docking sequence. Why did Jebediah have to antagonize him all the time? Surely he knew he didn't mean him any harm. Maybe Jeb was right. What if Ned wasn't a good pilot after all, and he'd just gotten insanely lucky? Hey, Ned, you alright? We've been wondering where you went. Yeah, I'm okay. Just upset about what happened, I guess. Why is Jeb being such a pain in the ass? He hasn't always been like this. I've known him since the KSP's humble beginnings. Back in those days, Jeb was actually quite pleasant to be around, and had a happy-go-lucky attitude towards what he did. People adored him, and liked to call him the Thrill Master. Over time, though, as his missions got more and more bold, he began to see himself as being above all others. The last remnant of the old Jeb disappeared around the time he and I went to Dres with Bob, where, this whole thing all began. Then you had your Tylo mission, and, well, that sent him over the edge. So you're essentially saying he's just jealous and an egomaniac? Pretty much, yeah. Alrighty, Bill and Jolena. We're approximately 30 minutes out from Bop Periapsis. Let's get ready to board the Kangaroo. All three of us are now safely on board the Kangaroo. Open up the cargo bay. Opening cargo bay in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa. Wasn't expecting quite such a jolt. Yeah, those hinges are quite powerful, aren't they? Heff 3500, this is Kangaroo, requesting clearance to undock. You're all clear to depart.
Good luck out there.
Man, I forgot how tiny Bob actually is. Even from here, it just looks like a big rock. Sure does. Let me just get us into its orbit real quick. That was it? Sure was. Be sure to wave to the Heff 3500 as it goes past. They'll be back to pick us up on the next orbit around Kerbin. Now, what do you say we land this thing? KSC, this is Kangaroo.
Touchdown confirmed.
Copy that, Kangaroo.
Begin your EVA when ready.
Landing on a world entirely transformed. Kinda strange, isn't it, Bill? I hear ya. Feels strange to land on Bop now, especially after having been there before it was transformed. I feel kind of uneasy being here. Hey, I didn't really get much time to use the jetpacks during training. How do I use this again? You ever dock a craft using the simulator? It's kinda like that, but with your spacesuit instead. Like the simulator, I think that makes sense. Whoa! Don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. Uh-huh. We're not gonna put down a tracking beacon here on Bob, as Bob's presence would easily be detectable from Kerbin if he were here. We're still gonna conduct a short-range exploration via EVA packs, however. Alright, enough rambling, let's get to planting our first flag for the KSP. Gurmund, are you alright? You look like you just saw a ghost. Yeah, I think I did. I'm sure it was nothing. Let's get to exploring, shall we? Alright, whatever you say. Gurmund, come check out this amazing rock I found. Wow, quite the rock indeed. Wait, what's this? Gurmund, Bill, I'm not really sure what I'm seeing here. I feel very uneasy about it, though. Relax, you'll get used to the jetpack eventually. I don't want my single moment of unease to wash over onto you. No, it's not that. Can you guys just come over here real quick? Sure, I'll make my way over. Bill, you keep examining that pretty rock, okay? So, what's the matter exactly?
Why don't you have a look for yourself?
Oh my... We need to get back to the lander. Now! There is no time to explain. What? Bill, get back to the lander! But Gurmund, the rock... I don't care! Follow me! Gurmund, what on Kerbin are you doing? What did you see back there? Kangaroo? What's
going on?
Gurmund, what's the matter with you? Speak to me. Oh my. What is going on here? Oh no.
What is it?
Do you seriously not know? That is the Kraken we're looking dead in the eye. Does no one else think that we should just get out of here right now? No, it's okay. As an avid Kraken follower, one of the things I know is that the Kraken can communicate by shaking the ground beneath it. I think it's trying to speak to us. That sounds crazy, but, okay. What's it saying, then? An ascended Kerbal. came to my home of Bob. Fought for power. A cosmic battle ensued. He was victorious. I am left to die. After hearing this, all three of their hearts dropped, and the Kraken stopped moving completely. Meanwhile, those in Mission Control looked on in disbelief. Angelina was utterly devastated. Even Gurman, who was lukewarm about there being a Kraken or not, and Bill, who did not even believe in the Kraken until seeing it firsthand, felt a deep sense of sadness and respect. The trio then re-entered the lander in silence and left Bob, before receiving an ominous message from the KSP.
Do not tell anyone about this. Not even those on the Heff 3500. They do not need to know. If word got out about this, Kerbin would fall into anarchy.
As they then docked the Kangaroo and were reunited with the Heff 3500, those on board had quite a few questions about what had happened. Gurman, are you okay? Master Gurman, what events have taken place? Why did you guys not talk to us? Everything is okay, alright? I don't know what got into me for a minute. I don't want it to affect our ability to continue the mission. Let's start preparing to get to the moon. Alright then. Although Gurman didn't seem to be fully with it, the crew obeyed his orders, and soon enough, the Heff 3500 made its way to the moon, which hadn't been changed nearly as drastically as Kerbin or Bob perhaps had. In fact, some Kerbals would look up at it in the sky and briefly forget that Bob had even done anything, its gray complexion largely unchanged. Jack, Money, and Kevin Kerman seemed to think the same as they boarded the lander and descended to the surface. How boring. Methinks Bob hath left the moon alone. Very well, let us commence our excursion. You remember to bring the tracking beacons, correct? Beshrew me, I hath neglected it. I are day-brained. It's okay, Kevin, I brought them on board. Ah, yes, I thank thee.
So, see any signs of Bob? Nay, nothing hath shown up yet.
All in one! Well, yeah, I guess, since aren't craters just giant holes in the ground? Not too shabby for a fellow of the Bogey Republic. As a crag, I art quite impressed. Yes, believe it or not, despite our name, we have some of the greatest golfers this side of the Tedran Ocean. Ugh, you know, why was a whole ocean renamed after one guy anyways? I mean, Tedran was the first Kerbal to ever set foot on the moon. That's a pretty big deal. I think Jeb was pretty unhappy he didn't get to be the first. Also, they thought manly was too cliché. There, I wonder what his landing site looks like these days. After exploring for a bit and finding little of interest, even with the rover's high-speed shenanigans, the crew quickly returned to the Kangaroo and made their way back to the Heff 3500. Well, how'd it go? You guys find any signs Bob may be around? Negative. All we found were a bunch of rocks. Very well, let's hope Minmus has more to offer. Man, that rocks!
I don't know. Sorry. You should be.
A similar chain of events then followed after the Heff 3500 set off for Minmus, with Furwise, Netzer, Jack, and Harry Kerman making the trip to the moon. In stark contrast to the moon, Minmus's appearance had been entirely changed by Bob, transforming from Kerbin's mintiest satellite into an object of deep red hue, which reminded Furwise of cinnamon. Furwise, what did I tell you already? There is no cinnamon down there. You sure, man? Looks pretty convincing. 99.9% sure. After safely landing on Minmus and confirming that there was indeed no cinnamon on the surface, the crew deployed the rover, and Jack and Furwise drove off to explore their surroundings, with a faint hope of maybe locating Bob. No way I'm letting you drive. You literally got busted for reckless driving the other week. Nah, they just couldn't handle my personality. Meanwhile, Ned and Harry stayed behind and began to discuss their personal lives a bit more. And that's why I'm still not married and left Regatta Coast for good. At least you actually had good parents who supported you instead of just naming you something ridiculous and then leaving a few years later. Wait, so you're saying your parents just up and left one day? Yeah, pretty much. I haven't seen them in 20 years. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. Any idea where they went? Not really. I sometimes joke that they went to Laythe, as they always seem to talk about building their own rocket and getting out of here. They probably just meant retiring to the Cape or something, where the weather's always nice, unlike where we lived in northern Heff land. That'd be pretty absurd, but not as absurd as them naming you something like Harry. Whoa! Everything's gone dark. Yeah, that's Jool again. I still haven't even gotten used to the daily eclipse on Kerbin, much less here.
Jool looks so gigantic and menacing from here. Almost like you could just be pulled straight off of Minmus and fall into it. I wonder how Jack and Furwise are going to drive in this.
Well, we've gotten halfway to the North Pole. I think we should just call off the search and plant a flag here. Fine by me. Can I drive back, though? Fine. If you promise not to drive like a maniac in a BMW. Sure thing, man. Yo, who turned out the lights? I can't see anything. Even the suit lights aren't working? No, man, it's gone totally black. Alright, let's just stop here until the eclipse ends.
I've gone blind! Help! I can't see anything! Bob is taking my vision!
It's just an eclipse.
What are you doing? Whoa! Well, we were wondering when you guys would be back with the eclipse and all. How'd it go?
Just splendid, alright? Furwise thinks he discovered this thing called Advanced Darkness, and he's scared beyond belief.
They took my eyes.
Let's get out of here. Whoa, did you see that? Minmus just started zooming away from us.
Yeah, and the anomalous eclipse darkness. You guys sure you didn't see any traces of Bob?
Negative.
Following this strange occurrence, the kangaroo made its way back to the Heff 3500, which then made its way to Laythe, the penultimate destination of the Jool System. During the aerobraking sequence, the crew began discussing the possibility of cooking food using re-entry plasma, and, after low orbit had been achieved, Gurman gave his final briefing on the landing.
As you all know, we are about to use the Maverick shuttle for our Laythe landing and descent. While it is capable of carrying all of us down to the surface, we need one volunteer to stay behind and upkeep the ship.
Are you alright?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Any takers? Anyone? I know you all want to go stroll on the beach and breathe some maybe toxic air, but we need one.
I'll stay behind.
Well, that settles it then. Jack will remain in orbit while the rest of us land on Laythe. Heff 3500, this is Maverick, requesting clearance to undock.
You're clear, have a good flight.
Have a good flight? This isn't an airport.
Didn't I tell you I used to be an air traffic controller?
You probably did. I guess it got lost among your dozens of other gigs over the years.
KSC, this is Maverick. We are now aligned for Laythe entry.
Copy that. Entry interface in T-minus 30 seconds.
Entering comms blackout. Expected reacquisition in T-minus 4 minutes. Great heavens, it looks sweltering out there.
KSP Maverick.
Velocity Mach 1 and falling.
Copy that. You're a bit south of the targeted landing zone.
Understood. Correcting trajectory now. Keep it steady.
And touchdown. Excuse the rough landing. Excellent work, everyone. I could not have asked for a crew better than this one for such an ambitious mission. Now, let's finally relax for a bit. Furwise, what are you doing with your helmet off? We don't even know for sure if the air here is breathable. It's alright, man. Just very hot and humid and spicy. Makes your eyes water. But it's fine. Furwise, quit trying to act all tough and get your helmet on.
Okay, the three of us are going down to the shore to investigate the water. Why don't you three bring out the rover?
Sounds like a plan. I'll get into the cockpit to operate the cargo bay. Hey dude, wanna see something cool? If you stand under the cargo bay, it says gullible. Thou art cupshot. There is no way such a thing could be true. Open the bay, Ned. Opening the bay. Ned.
Furwise, thou art a knave.
The rover's stuck.
I cannot believe I fell for such a
What do you
silly
mean it's
scheme.
stuck? I mean it's not out of the cargo bay, man. Curious, try bending space-time and speeding it up 5 times a couple of times. Got it, Hey, it worked. My lord, Nedzer, thou art brilliant. Thou art not a Clamperton after all. Did you get it out? Sure did, man. Well, I think I'm gonna go back down to the water with the other guys. You two have fun with the rover. And with that, Ned and Kevin began exploring the area in the Maverick's rover, finding several curious features as they went. Say, is that a cactus in this wet of a climate? A groundbreaking revelation this is. 'Tis a true marvel, a Laythian jungle cactus. Check out this rock arch. Mark thee this. It looks to be composed of moon rocks, and this splendid cavern. Let's hope there's no Laythe bears in there. Hey, how's the water? Highly saline.
And that's why I'm no longer allowed to use the claw machine. How silly.
I was wondering where yous had been. Don't tell me Ned got you guys lost. Everything went alright, thank you. What are you guys still doing out here? Oh, Furwise felt like playing a game, so we all just went along. I've had enough of it, I'm going to bed. See you bozos tomorrow. I ought to follow. Good night, everyone. I think I'd better go as well. You coming too? I think I'll stay out here a little while longer. Alright then, good night.
Harry, what are you doing out here at this hour? Shh! Nothing? Alright, fine. Look, long story short, I'm searching for my parents, who I believe left for Laythe many years ago. It's a weird story, okay? That all sounds pretty silly. No way you're actually going out there on your own. What, do you want to come with me or something? No, why would I do that? Very well then, why don't you go back to the ship? I can't just let you go AWOL. Gerbin would be furious. Then again, there seems like no backing you out of it. You know Laythe is a pretty dangerous place, right? Intense storms, extreme temperatures, unruly ocean currents, and who knows what kinds of deadly wildlife. I can't let you go alone. Alright, fine, I'll go with you. Really? I was just sort of joking. But if that's the case, let's get out of here. Just remove that antenna, will you? I can't believe I'm doing this. Hey, Gerbin?
What is it, Jeb?
I just performed the head count. Bill and Harry have gone missing, and so has the rover.
They what?